7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
All right, welcome into another edition of the Vegas Squares podcast. Sitting here in the Zoom studio, we got myself, we got Mr. Token Tony, and we got Spike. Thanks for joining us this week, Spike.
Hey, what can I say? I'm here.
Yeah, I think Spike took one too many mushrooms last week and didn't quite make the podcast.
What are you going to do?
Wake up.
Nah, I couldn't do that. I not only did I not wake up for the 11 o'clock, I didn't actually wake up till like 12:30, almost 1 o'clock. So,
jeez.
It was real bad.
Yeah, the COVID or something?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, no, my buddies and I have rediscovered Counter-Strike. So we stay from Friday nights, we're up from like 10 p.m. till 5 or 6 a.m. just blowing people. Well, me getting blown up because I suck, but
Oh, no, I think you're probably just blowing people.
No, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Thank you.
You're the Counter-Strike fluffer.
That and probably teabagging.
Ooh. Is that one of the special moves in Counter-Strike teabagging?
There is a lot of teabagging going on. One of my buddies loves that move.
Oh, I'm sure. There's one in every group.
I think Counter-Strike is code for something else within Spike's world.
Yeah. You wish.
What's up, Token?
Oh, not much. Just got back last week from out-of-town trip to Grand Canyon and Flagstaff and Sedona, Arizona.
And got some golf. You sweating some golf matchups this week?
A little light action this week, so not too invested in it. More darts action and baseball and soccer.
Darts
right
action. I love it. He's
Yes.
got darts action. All right, so speaking of action, we're going to have a 30-second franchise here in the NHL coming up very soon, but now we know who they are. And if you've been living under a rock, we will let you know here. Breaking news on the Vegas Squares podcast, the 30-second franchise is the Seattle Kraken. It looks cool. Initial thoughts for me personally, I like it. I love the logo. I love the secondary logo with the anchor on it and the Space Needle kind of at the top of the anchor. For me, I'm all systems go with this. I think it's a really cool name, and I'm kind of got a little soft spot for him. I think I'm gonna root for him. I don't know if they're going to do as well as the Vegas Golden Knights in their expansion year, but I'm rooting for them. What do you guys think?
Overall, 2 thumbs up from me. I really like the logo. I like the colors. Like you said as well, even the secondary logo is pretty sweet with the anchor with the Space Needle. I mean, I hope they do really well. I don't think they will do as well as the Vegas expansion team in the first season, but yeah, I like them so far. I mean, it's unfortunate their fans are going to be called crackheads and they're going to play at the crack house, but
Stole my goddamn line.
Yeah.
Spike's been waiting 4 days for that.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, that's why I'm the bulldozer.
Yep.
Shouldn't have let him go first.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I like the logo, love the name because there was some thought that it was going to be either the walleye, which
Stupid.
we already have. Yeah, that's dumb enough, and then the Sonics, which Seattle's desperate to get their basketball franchise back, which also would have been named the Sonics, and I just don't like teams sharing names. So I'm happy they went with the Kraken. I think the color scheme, I think the logo, I think all that stuff's pretty great. My only negative on this is that I kind of wish they had gone back to the Metropolitans based on that team from 1917 that actually won the Stanley Cup. The last non-NHL team to win the Stanley Cup, by the way. That would have been the way to go for me, but I'll take the Kraken because I think it's a cool, they can build a really good concept around it for the fans.
Yeah, and I think if they take a piece of like what Vegas's intro show is, I mean, in the release the Kraken, all the different options available for that saying alone in there. I mean, could you imagine? Like, we've been to Vegas Golden Knights games, and the shit they do on the ice, like the theatrics and the lights, the lighting how they can make the ice like the ice crack. You know what I'm talking about. But could you imagine like the Kraken coming out of the center ice? I mean, I don't know, I'm sure they've got a good marketing team that's going to market that well, but just all the ideas that come out from that is going to be real cool. I don't think they'll be able to have like a Kraken come down from the rafters that like the players can skate out of. That would be pretty weird, but I trust that their marketing and their technical staff will be able to do something with Kraken. With all due respect to Metropolitans, in 2020, it's kind of hard to really market that. And I think that's what the NHL needs to do right now is to make going to a game exciting. Because I feel like baseball has done that. Because baseball, most people believe it's a very boring game. But the last few, I've been to National Stadium, the Brewers Park. Hell, the stadium in itself is an experience. Or just even pre-game is an experience. I think Vegas, even though the fact that Vegas, the Golden Knights are good, everything about the stadium, the pregame, the celebration, even outside the stadium, all the walk-ups in the area right there where all the DJ is, everything has been exciting leading up to an event. And people who aren't hockey fans or baseball fans still don't mind going to the game to enjoy the experience. And that's kind of what you need to bring in the dollars of the casual fan. To me, honestly, the last football game I went to was in Tampa. Actually, no, it was in Arizona. When I moved here, we went to a game in Arizona. Football games are boring. I'd rather watch it on television. I have no interest in going to a football game anymore, really, for the foreseeable future. And, you all know my stance on basketball. I really don't have any interest in going to a basketball game anyways. I'm sure that some of their pregame festivities are pretty awesome too. But to me, so far, baseball and hockey have done a lot with their experience more so than the game, because a lot of people, most of the country doesn't like hockey, and most of the country is falling numb on baseball. So I give kudos to the Kraken logo. Again, not to disrespect the Metropolitans, because I do. I love the kind of the stick tap to the throwback, but I'm kind of digging all the things they can do with this Kraken mantra.
And they could always do a third or even fourth or an alternate jersey that is based upon the Metropolitans logos and colors and all that kind of stuff. So they can figure out a way to incorporate that later on.
Very
But
true.
I think you're right. Having the Kraken as an overall theme, I think, is going to be better for them in the long run. But I'm a sucker for nostalgia. What can I say?
No, I don't hate that at all either. I mean, like I'm just saying, I think to jazz up the game, the Kraken logo and the Kraken name really hit home. There's a lot of people who don't like it. A lot of talking heads on ESPN. I was looking on the ESPN website. What's his face?
Why?
From PTI. Actually, you know what's weird? I actually stopped following them on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. It's just I can't take it anymore. It's just nothing's about sports anymore. So I just I can get my news from somewhere else. I'm not trying to announce a departure. This ain't an airport, but I mean, I had to stop following them. But I am here. When you do a Google search, they're one of the first ones to come up. But a lot of them don't love the Kraken. But of course, a lot of these guys aren't hockey guys. But it's the world we live in today. You put something out there, and half the people are going to love something, and half the people are going to hate it. Just sometimes for the sheer fact of just hating it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I also do like the throwback to the Seattle Metropolitans with the standardized S and all that. I mean, they were the first American Hockey League team to win a Stanley Cup too. So,
yeah. Do you think Seattle's going to have a hard time building a fan base? I mean,
no.
Vegas didn't have anything nearby. I mean, most people were Kings fans or Ducks fans, but that was still 4.5 hours. I mean, Vancouver is right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if there is Seattle hockey fan, it is probably a Vancouver Canucks fan. So they had a little bit of competition. Now, if it's anything, I think all three of us, correct me if I'm wrong, agree that Seattle will not have the same success out of the gate as Vegas, correct?
Yeah, I would be surprised, especially with when Vegas came into the league, the new expansion rules for Vegas were, they were kind of crazy. They were more generous than they had ever been. But I think McPhee did such a phenomenal job kind of bullying the other GMs into doing what he wanted, that's not going to happen this time around. Like, just there's a 0% chance teams are going to be doing, the same thing that they did with Vegas as far as, giving up guys like Marchessault and Smith to ensure that they're protecting somebody else. I think teams this time around are just going to say, to hell with it, take whoever you need. And, they'll protect the ones that they can and then be done with it. Or they'll make, strategic trades before the deadline to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Especially with the goalies. I mean, the protecting of the goalies, you can only protect one, is always a huge one. So I think a lot of these teams are going to go the Robin Leonard approach. Get rid of the guy that we can't protect and get some assets back for him.
Exactly. And, Columbus is going to be in a hell of a spot between Kerpicello and Miss Plinkus
Merzlikins or whatever.
Yeah, Elvis. Just Elvis. Whatever the fuck his name is.
The rumor is that they love Carey Price, similar to a Marc-Andre Fleury type. As a casual hockey fan knows, Carey Price is a good goalie. He's had success. Obviously not the same cup success as Fleury, but, I think Vegas brought in Fleury just for the recognition alone. I mean, he still had something in the tank, obviously, as he's been proven over the last 2.5 years. But I think most of the people will believe that Fleury was brought in because most casual hockey fans, I know the name Marc-Andre Fleury. People know the name Carey Price. So Seattle, to build up, I mean, again, they may not take Carey Price, or they may take Carey Price and one of Columbus's goalies. You never quite know.
Yeah.
But
that would actually be very smart of them to do that if that is possible.
They're coming in 21, so that we've got one more full year without them. Correct.
Yeah. And have you seen any renderings of the stadium that they're proposing that they're going to build? The arena.
They're remodeling Key Arena, that's from what I understand, where the Seattle Sonics used to play.
Yeah. They're doing 2 giant jumbotrons in the stadium, like triangle-shaped jumbotrons. So everybody is going to be able to see, and it's not going to be like the Golden Knights one, where if you're on the side of the arena, you get a much bigger screen than the ones on the either end behind the goals.
These are the triangle, though.
I don't know, maybe saving space so they can only build, or so they only have to build 6 screens instead of 8. I don't know the point of that, but it's a nice concept, and if it works, then it's going to be beautiful.
Well, I know that it's not Key Arena anymore. They've changed it to Climate Pledge Arena. That's something like that. That's so Seattle right there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, especially the salary cap. I guess they agreed that the salary cap will not rise for the next 2 years. So they will come in with an $82 million salary cap, or $81.5 million. So that could have an effect, too, on building their team, because they may have to go cheaper in spots where they could have taken a guy who may have been able to contribute. They may have to take somebody who is unprotected that has a small salary. And they won't be able to get the Marchessault Smith combo for exchange for play because Marchessault and Smith were both $4 or $5 million players,
right?
That the Knights had the luxury of acquiring. So
yeah, well, and remember too, there's going to be a minimum salary cap requirement that this team is going to have to hit. So they are going to have to take on either dead money or big contracts, even if the player isn't necessarily performing as they used to. So that's going to be a little bit of a interesting piece or interesting twist. So we'll see how that goes.
All right. So who's the head coach of the Kraken? Token. I'm kind of hoping Gallant gets the job.
I highly doubt that. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to see, but I don't think they're going to go that route. I just think they're going to wait probably until around October to finalize somebody, I think.
October of this year?
Get the ball running.
I figured they'd
I would say October of this year, maybe even towards the end of this year, but I think they try and get something placed in sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Gallant came out and was announced in Vegas March, right before the Cup, something like that. Does that sound right? Like in 2017, I think he was announced in like March or April, right before the playoffs got underway. So I was thinking probably in 2021 he's announced sometime, maybe actually at the end of 2021. He or she. I don't want to disrespect anybody because it's totally plausible. But Ron Francis is the GM. Everybody thought it would be Yzerman actually going up there. Or not Yzerman. I forget his name. It was Yzerman. And a lot of people thought Yzerman, then he went to Detroit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, Ron Francis, Hurricane guy, Hartford Whaler guy. Also, he played for Pittsburgh for a while. I could see maybe something along the correlation of like he's not going to bring in that one dude who got the Calgary guy who used to be the Carolina coach. What was his name? He called the kid an N-word. You know what I'm talking about, just recently. Bill something. Anyways, he's not going to bring that guy in.
No, definitively not.
But I could see maybe him throwing the bank at maybe Brindamore. Brindamore, who's the current Hurricanes head coach. There's a chance, you give him a nice little steady pay raise, take over an expansion team, give him a lot more leeway than I hope they gave Gallant. I mean, than they gave Gallant, in my opinion. But
I think that would be a good pick for them.
Yeah, Rob Brindamore. Or, if somehow, I don't think it's going to happen, but if somehow in the next 2 years the Penguins win a cup, Sullivan's got 3 cups, he may try a new little endeavor. He's probably one of the best coaches in the league right now, too. I don't think he would leave, but money talks. Everybody's got a price, right?
Oh, for sure. I think the best available for me right now is probably Laviolette. But yeah, they could go a ton of different directions here. They may try to find an assistant coach or an AHL coach out there that they can paying to really give a brand new identity, so they don't have a coach that was fired by another organization. There's a lot of different ways they can go with this, so it'll be interesting. They did announce that they're going to wait until the end of the playoffs before they even start the search.
Yeah, so, I mean that's probably the smart move. I would, like I said, I wouldn't even necessarily have anything today, because the question is, okay, so if you're going to pick like an assistant right now, is that assistant going to take a whole year off of being around hockey for next year? I mean, that's a long time, especially for a first-time head coach. You take somebody like Laviolette. He's already out of the game right now. He's not really working on anything hockey related. He can wait another year. You're right. I mean, even like a guy like Gallant. Gallant has the experience of navigating an expansion franchise. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues you can go with this. Again, I don't think it's going to be Gallant, but there's a lot of different explanations you could have for hiring a guy like Gerard Gallant. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, you can make that make sense. You can sell it to the fans for sure. I just think Laviolette, for me, is the better. Like, he is the better of the hockey coach. He's the one I wanted for Vegas once Gallant was fired. But Pete DeBoer is doing fine. Like, I'm not complaining about him. I'm just saying, like, I think Laviolette right now, the fact that he doesn't have a job is baffling to me. So Seattle, that should be their number one guy.
That's fair. I can respect that for sure. And the question really with Gallant would be is how much he might actually have added pressure because he's had success on expansion teams. So Seattle brings him in. They're like, oh, all of a sudden expectations are through the roof before they've even drafted their players.
Yeah.
So, well, we've got current hockey about ready to start up in about a week, and we're going to have an article on Vegas Squares detailing out some serious bets that we're going to be placing here in the next few days. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on some – we got the qualifying round. To me personally, I'm not really loving the thought of betting any of those games because of the motivation factor. But I wanted to look at some of the not the qualifying round, excuse me, the round robin round. I don't think there's a lot of motivation in some of these teams, or I can't gauge the motivation. But the qualifying round, I wanted to look at some of these series because I think there's going to be some really good series out here, especially. So the first one I want to look at that I've already bet is the Rangers and the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are minus 145, Rangers plus 125. These odds are provided by mybookie.ag. I like the Hurricanes in this series, but I think it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out, best of 5, goes all 5. I think we're going to have a really good series here. The Rangers, in my opinion, have 2 really good starting goalies. I just think they're probably about a year out from really contending, especially with Panarin and everything. But the fact that they were able to sneak into this series really gives them a no-risk, all-reward scenario here, in my opinion. I think they're going to push the Hurricanes to the brink. It wouldn't shock me if they won, but I think I'm going to lay the 145 and take the Hurricanes. They got Trocheck before the deadline. The only thing that scares me about the Hurricanes is Peter Mrazek. Token, I know that's your boy.
I can't stand him.
But they got Trocheck on the deadline. They're getting Dougie Hamilton back from injury. They got a really, really good top 2 lines. They also got Brady Shea, ironically, from the Rangers before the deadline as well. So I think they're probably the more talented team on paper, but we know hockey, puck bounces the wrong way, you're out of the series. just like that. I'm taking the 145. I think it's a really, really good 5-game series. Token, what's your favorite series of this qualifying round?
My favorite series of this qualifying round is Arizona and Nashville. I think that one will be a very interesting one. I mean, Arizona had 2 of the top 10 save percentage leaders for goaltending this season and got into this. I mean, even though their scoring performance was down, but I mean, they have a lot of young talent and decent speed on ice too. I mean, I think that's going to be key for them against.
They're a fun team to watch, Arizona is.
Yeah, they're going to be fun to watch against Nashville, and I think Pekka is going to kind of struggle in the series. I think Coyotes 1-4 in that one.
Coyotes in 4. Wow, that's an interesting. So you can get the Coyotes right now plus 115 for the series, the best of 5 series. Predators minus 135. The question with Pekka, Spike, is what kind of leash is he going to have? I mean, we've seen UC Soros really enter more games this year than obviously previous years, and he's played well. I mean, UC Soros is definitely definitely a capable heir to the throne of the Pekka Rinne era. So I don't know how long of a leash Rinne might have in this.
Yeah, I think you're going to see something similar to what we saw out of Washington between Grubauer and Holtby in 2018 when Washington beat Vegas for the Stanley Cup. Because remember, Grubauer started the playoff series.
Started game 1.
Yeah, I mean, they were planning on running with him throughout that series, and that did not work out. By the way, Token, if you want to bet Arizona as a 3-1 exacta, you're getting plus 375 on your money for that, which I don't know that it's worth it, but
okay.
I know that you like to sprinkle a little bit on there. So, yeah, plus 375 for that line.
Yeah, you got to think Nashville's going to get a game there.
Some value in that, yeah.
Sure, yeah. I think you're right. I think Saros is, Rinne may start the series. I think Saros finishes it off for better or for worse.
Yeah, low-key, I think a couple of interesting series here I like before I get to the one you like the most there, Spike, to bet. I think the Blue Jackets Maple Leaf series would be fun for the goalie thing that you mentioned with Elvis and or Korpisalo going in there. Columbus, a team that probably didn't belong in the playoffs, but again, these teams that have a shot, really no risk, all reward, and a series that I'm looking personally forward to because of my like for a couple of key players. I've always had a really big soft spot for Devin Dubnyk, and I really like the young upstart Canucks team with Pettersson, Besser, Horvat. I'm very interested to watch that series. That doesn't sound like an exciting series to a lot of people, but for me, just watching the young talent on Vancouver fire pucks at maybe one of the best goalies in our era at Devin Dubnyk, I'm interested to watch those 2 series as well.
No, I'm definitely with you on Vancouver. I think they're a very interesting watch, especially to see what they can get out of Brock Besser in the playoffs. I think another one that I'm interested in watching, but I'm not necessarily going to bet, is going to be that All-Canada Calgary versus Winnipeg. I think I have no idea what to make of Calgary. I think they're a very good team. I think Winnipeg is a very bad team, but Hellebuck's playing out of his goddamn mind. So I'm
he's had a 4-month layoff, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, yeah, and that's going to be curious. The one that I'm actually betting, though, and I am taking the favorite in this, is the Islanders and Panthers. This is a team, this is the brick wall versus the unstoppable object, so to speak. Panthers can score at will. Islanders give up nothing. Yeah. So I'm curious to see which one of those 2 break during the series. And for me, I know it's a football philosophy, but I always think a good defense beats a good offense. I think the Islanders can take it. They are going off at minus 125. I will lay the juice and take that New York team to see what they can do against Florida.
And the crazy thing about all these matchups, Token, is that there is literally no home ice advantage. No. So you can throw that right out the window. I mean, you don't even have Edmonton playing in Edmonton, so there's nothing. Yeah. There's nothing to help any team in this playoff. So, with the respect to the Islanders, I agree with you. I think they are literally the immovable force. They give up nothing. They play games 1-0, 2-1, and it's a very boring style of hockey. And actually, it's boring and to a person who's offensive minded, but it's very cardiac. I've watched a few Islander games this year, and it's a very cardiac kind of, oh my God, we're going to be close in every game. The question with that series, Spike, really is going to be Bobrovsky. Because if Bobrovsky's just as good as the Islander defense, I think Panthers might win that series.
That's certainly possible. Bobrovsky hasn't showed me anything this
Correct.
year, which is disappointing. But you're right. If he can run, or if Florida can figure out how to play defense, then that is definitely going to give Florida a leg up, and I'll have thrown money away, which wouldn't be the first time. As I was putting in a 10-team MLB parlay as we were talking earlier, so that's another way I throw money away.
There you go.
But yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. If Gully Bob gets on his game, then watch out, because they can make some noise in these playoffs.
Now, Token, what about these two series where it seems all but certain that the favorite is going to advance? You've got the Oilers minus 180 over the Blackhawks, and you have the Penguins minus 245 over the Canadiens. I like the favorites in both of those series, but I don't really love laying juice on that. It almost seems – to me, it seems like the Canadiens, who were probably not going to make the playoffs, against the Penguins, who this season, I don't know, this doesn't feel like a season where they're – in love with trying to compete for a Stanley Cup. They got swept out of the first round last year. This year, they got Matt Murray, who can't stop anything. I mean, Tristan Jarry is probably going to be the starter, I would imagine, unless they're just going to give Matt Murray a short chance. I think the Oilers are really good, but, I mean, Corey Crawford's had time to heal, and actually he was number 2 in the league in high danger save percentage, which is a really underrated stat. And Fleury, I believe, I have to go back and look. I believe Fleury was number 3 in that stat as well. And we know how much Fleury loves to get himself caught in a pickle there with the breakaways and the open nets and stuff. But
yeah.
High danger save percentage is huge. And especially with guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, you're going to find yourself in a lot of high danger chances. I kind of love maybe the Blackhawks advancing in this. Or maybe even taking a shot at it. I don't know. Am I crazy?
I could see it going 5. I think it's going to be a tight series. I do like how Crawford's performed in the season before it stopped. It's going to be interesting how he comes back, though. And I don't see the Blackhawks winning the series, but I see them putting pressure.
And if Corey Crawford's no good, they got the best backup goalie in the league, right, Spike? They got freaking Malcolm Subban.
Sure. Yeah, well, that's fine.
In fairness, I think the Blackhawks can make it competitive. I'm taking the Canadiens to win that series. I think the motivation factor, the Canadiens are a young team. You got Max Domi, you got Kotkaniemi. If Carey Price is the starter, which he probably will be, the guys had 4 months of rest. I mean, that's key for an older goalie like that. I like the Canadiens. If I can find it maybe 2-1, get that extra 5 cents of juice, I'll still probably lay the 195, but I'm all over the Canadiens to win that series in 4 or 5 games.
I don't know. I'm never going to give Montreal credit, especially as a Boston fan. I don't think they have it yet. I think they could put it together. I love Nick Suzuki. I'm furious that the Golden Knights traded him instead of Cody Glass when they got Max Pacioretty. So I think they have some pieces. I just I can't see them putting it together against Pittsburgh. Because remember, a lot of Pittsburgh's woes this year came from injuries. Every team is coming back relatively healthy when we start this thing. I can't see Montreal getting past that.
And that's fair. And I mean, Pittsburgh is the biggest favorite of all the qualifying series prices. So, I mean, there's got to be some truth to that. I think it's experience. You got, I mean, in my opinion, the best all-around player in the game, obviously, with number 87.
Rob Gronkowski.
Yes, Rob Gronkowski, yes. Gronk spike in net. You got Malkin, who's he's older, obviously, but he's still really good. It's going to come down to goaltending for them. If it's Jarry, I probably like their chances to just take care of this series early. If it's Murray, I don't feel as confident, but I think obviously Murray's track record gives him just enough a chance to extend. But you're giving me 2-1 right there. I'll take a shot. They win game 1, the Canadiens. Shit could get scary.
Yeah.
I'd love for them to go up 2-0 and maybe I can find Pittsburgh on the other side.
Oh, there you go. That'd be nice.
Action. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be a possibility.
We'll look out for that article. We'll have them soon. We'll have these picks that we just had. We'll give you a little rundown of them. You can check that out on lvsquares.com. All right, boys, let's give some cup picks here. The season starts in a week. I know that there's a lot of craziness here, but as of right now, who are you guys feeling for the cup? I'm going to look at the odds here based on mybookie.ag. MyBookie.ag has the Lightning as the favorite at plus 550, with the Bruins right behind at 6-1. Who are you guys looking for to raise a cup with the value? I'll find the value here on MyBookie.
As of now, I like Capitals and Avalanche.
Capitals are 12-1, Avalanche 7-1. What about you, Spike?
Yeah, I don't mind that Avalanche pick. And I hate to sound like a homer constantly, but I don't see how the Bruins lose this. I just don't. Too many weapons on offense. Defense is phenomenal. Two unbelievable goalies who, both of them or either of them could have come up for a Vezina nod. Rask did. They won the Jennings. I don't know how a team gets past Boston. Just don't see it.
All right, we got Boston.
I think Boston actually struggles this year, unfortunately. What I heard is they have 6 players that are really during this time off have struggled to keep in shape and all that, and one being Tuukka, one being Pasternak, and I don't see them making a deep run in this, unfortunately.
Interesting. Get a little serve return there. Boston is currently going off at 6-1. To take the homer approach, I don't like the odds for either Tampa Bay or Vegas in this spot at 550 or plus 700. I like Tampa to hoist the cup, so I'll take them at plus 550. But my dark horses, I like Dallas at 15-1, and I like the New York Islanders at 50-1. I think one of those two teams could navigate a very interesting playoff series. Think about how the craziness we saw in the first round last year. We could get something similar to that in these bubbles.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. Of all the restarts or the starts of the season, I love baseball. I'll watch baseball. But while hockey's on, especially this first couple of days when we're literally going to have hockey all day, I can't freaking wait.
Yeah,
it'll be like watching Olympic hockey.
It'll be like watching March Madness.
Straight through.
It'll be like watching March Madness game after game after game after game. Good thing I'm unemployed. I don't have to take a sick day.
Hey, when do the Red Wings play?
20.
Not anytime soon.
Yeah, I think they play in November or whenever the next season starts.
What time's their tea time?
Speaking of the Red Wings and participation trophies, have you seen the NBA is going to create or was considering creating a second bubble to let the teams that aren't making the playoffs finish out their season? Come on.
I heard about that. I've been in favor of doing that kind, like a tournament like that, to determine the number 1 overall pick, as opposed to doing a lottery system or just.
That's fair, but they weren't doing that. It was just literally like a showcase.
Yeah, that I have no idea, unless you can't even say that you're getting you're getting TV revenue, but you're not getting obviously ticket sales or concessions or any of that kind of stuff. So.
I mean, I guess the only thing you can say is ticket revenue or TV revenue, but other than that, I mean, that's just the ultimate participation trophy prize.
Yeah,
and I'm sure those guys don't even want to play; they've already gotten paid. So,
yeah, probably not
exactly.
So, all right, well, let's wrap it up here. That's going to be it for us. We got new Kraken, we got NHL playoffs. I'm very excited for both of those things to go off. So, for Token Tony, for Spike, I am Aaron. We appreciate you listening. We will catch you on the next one.